Hi, welcome to Flicks Minute. Today I'm going to tell you about a horror comedy movie called Abigail. One night, a group of criminals kidnap a teenage ballerina and take her to an old abandoned mansion. They isolate the girl in a room with her hands tied and her eyes covered. Their tenant, Lambert, refuses to tell them anything about the girl other than the obvious: she's rich. To avoid being tracked, Lambert confiscates their phones and gives them each a nickname: Joey, Rickles, Frank, Peter, Sammy, and Dean, and then Lambert leaves the house. It's a 24-hour job looking after the girl. Before Lambert returned to make the exchange with the girl's father, they're allowed to relax and enjoy the facilities provided. In a game of Guess Who, Joey manages to guess each of their backstories accurately. Frank is an ex-detective, Peter is a bouncer who was bullied in his past, Sammy is a rich hacker who wants to have fun, Rickles is an ex-Marine, Dean is a sociopath driver who likes the criminal world, and Joey herself, of course. She is a former military medic who is recovering from drug addiction, but she insists there is nothing to worry about her. Joey then went to the girl's room to remove her blindfold and recuff her hands to make them looser. She explained to the scared girl that they would let her go home soon when her father gave them the ransom money. Thus, the girl calmed down and introduced herself, Abigail. Joey has a son, so she is assigned to take care of Abigail during the hostage situation. Abigail then warns her about what will happen to her, hinting that Abigail's father is a cruel man. Joey quickly left the room and told Frank about the warning, but Frank thought it was just a bluff. Still, he is curious in the end. When Frank enters the room, he panics to find that Abigail's eyes are no longer covered, so he quickly covers his own face and asks who her father is at gunpoint. Abigail immediately said that his father is Christoph Laser, turning the tables on Frank, causing the man to want to leave the game. The group demands an explanation from him, and it is soon revealed that Christoph Laser is a legend, a master of many business industries, including crime. Since Frank's face was seen by Abigail, they intend to leave her quietly, but Dean claims he is badly in need of money right now and the group agrees with him. The reward is $7 million per person, so they come to an agreement to continue the game until they get the money. While Joey closes the library window, Sammy watches TV in a room, where Dean surprises her in the dark. He gives her the mask he's wearing, then goes to patrol the other rooms. Entering the basement kitchen, Dean sees the door open by itself, so he checks it, but no one is there. Just a rat. When Sammy arrives, she screams in terror to find Dean dead with his head cut off. Everyone gathers around and speculates about the presence of Laser's hitman named Valdez. There's a gruesome story about the guy. A few years ago, Valdez was suspected of brutally murdering 3 high-ranking Lazar gang members who were captured by the FBI. The mystery is, there was no way to get to the room where the 3 criminals were held, other than the heavily guarded front door and a 23rd floor window. So how he did it, no one knows. But some believe that the beheading is his signature. After the story, they rushed up the stairs to check on Abigail in the room, and they found her fine. However, this uncertainty makes them suspect each other that one of them is Valdez, so Rickles decides to go out to avoid conflict. Unfortunately, there is a locked barred gate blocking the front door. When Peter tries to break it, the security system is triggered, causing all entrances and exits to be sealed, trapping them inside. Joey thinks that all of this is a trap by Valdez, so she immediately meets Abigail in the room and asks if anyone else has entered besides her and Frank. The girl answers no. She claims that Frank actually works for her father, and his name is Valdez. Knowing this, Joey tells Rickles, concluding that Valdez and Lambert are working together against Laser. The two agree to split up and ambush Frank with guns in their hands. Just a few steps apart, Joey finds Rickles dead with a bite wound on his neck. She immediately returns to the living room and tells everyone that Frank is Valdez. However, Frank denies her accusations, believing that Joey's mind has been influenced by Abigail to turn them against each other. Frank decides to take the brute force, telling Peter to end Abigail's life, and he agrees. Just before Peter shoots Abigail, Joey quickly holds his hand and removes the gun, putting Abigail in fear. When Frank comes to threaten Joey, Abigail quietly releases her hand from the cuffs, then reveals who she really is. She is a vampire. She jumps up and tries to bite Peter, but Frank manages to take her down with a shot to the head, which heals in just a few seconds. Everyone immediately runs for their lives, and locks Abigail in the room. They can hardly believe that the girl they kidnapped is a vampire, concluding that Valdez is Abigail all along. If they don't kill the girl soon, they will be eliminated one by one. Frank is determined to kill her, telling Sammy and Peter to find equipment that can be used to kill vampires, such as sharp wood and garlic. However, Joey refuses to get involved in their plan, as she would rather use Abigail as a bargaining chip for their lives to Laser. The three soon returned to the room, only to find Abigail gone and music playing. When they checked upstairs, they found Abigail dancing with Dean's body, provoking them to attack her, but Abigail is too wild, forcing the three to retreat. Peter received multiple small stab wounds to his chest, while Frank received a sharp wooden stick to his thigh. In a moment of desperation, Joey decided to sedate Abigail with the sedative she had, so they quickly arrested the girl, but Sammy's hand is bitten, and the syringe fell into the elevator. As Abigail tried to take Frank away, Peter quickly caught and restrained her, then Joey immediately injected her. Abigail lost consciousness and is locked in the elevator. When Abigail regained consciousness, she revealed everything. There is never any money because the kidnapping is her own idea. Lambert worked for her. Abigail wanted revenge on the people who had interfered with her father's business. Sammy is Jessica. With her hacking skills, she once drained her rich parents' account. One day, she stole money from a company, and that was Laser. Terrence used to be a bouncer for a crime family, and he was always the subject of ridicule by his colleagues due to his late intellect. One night, he stole money from his crew, which happened to be a subsidiary of Laser. Adam turned out to be a detective who caught 3 of Laser's top gang leaders. After the hotel tragedy, he changed his identity and lived under the radar as a criminal. Lucia had a career as a doctor for the underworld after she was fired from Army medic due to drug addiction. One day, she was too high to treat someone. Instead of removing the bullet, she ripped an artery, and someone very important to Laser bled to death. Abigail offered freedom to the 2 people who would open the cage, causing a tense standoff at gunpoint. Joey stopped Peter from being tempted, because she is trying to stick to her plan to trade Abigail for their lives. But then Abigail claimed that her father no longer cared about her, no matter how many of Laser's enemies she killed. When Peter touches the cage, she shoots him in the waist. Conflict is over. While Sammy, Joey, and Peter went to the living room to treat the wound, Frank chose to guard Abigail. The girl told Frank that there is a secret door to get out of the library, in exchange for her release. But Frank instead played with her, triggering her anger, who opened the cage door easily and got out of it with her ballet moves. When she is about to bite him, Joey came breaking through the window covering that let in sunlight, destroying Abigail's hand instantly. They then went to the library where the sunlight is big enough for them to gather. Since Frank knew that Abigail lied about the secret door out, Sammy had the idea to turn off the electricity in the hope that the security system would reset. The 4 of them are divided into 2 teams, and split up to look for the power cables. Entering the basement, the bite wound on Sammy's hand suddenly disappeared. She is a vampire now, and her mind has been controlled by Abigail. When Peter searches for her, she surprise attacks him, and drinks his blood until he dies. A moment later, Joey and Frank arrive, only to find that Sammy is no longer human. Sammy chases them to the library, but she explodes when Joey reflects sunlight on her. Just then, a secret door opens and the 2 enter through the hallway, leading them to a security room, the place they meet the vampire Lambert. Lambert deliberately brought them to the room to offer Frank a deal. 2 years ago, Abigail had turned Lambert into a vampire as punishment for helping Frank in the capture of 3 high-ranking Laser gangs. The point is, Lambert is tired of seeing his family living under Abigail's threat. Therefore, he invites Frank to work together to kill Abigail and her father, and then take over the Laser's empire. To do so, Frank must be willing to be turned into a type of master vampire, and Frank agrees. Lambert immediately bites him, then gives him his blood that immediately transforms Frank into a vampire. Lambert offers Frank to bite Joey as his first victim, but Frank kills Lambert instead.
I feel great.
Not long after, Abigail comes to attack, but Frank immediately bites her while Joey manages to take her phone, deactivates the security measures and escapes, but the exit is locked. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Joey calls her son, telling him that he is the best thing that ever happened to her. Joey is a drug-addicted mother. A moment later, Frank comes in and breaks down the door that leads to the library. He tries to kill Joey slowly, but Abigail soon comes to her aid. Abigail offers her freedom if she helps her kill Frank, and she agrees. They work together to attack Frank, but he is too strong. Instead, he drinks Abigail's blood again and bites Joey. Frank thinks his bite has reacted, so he assumes Joey's mind is under his control. A vampire puppet like Sammy, he tells Joey to kill Abigail with the sharpened stick, but Joey attacks him, explaining that she is still human. Once again, the 2 women work together to kill Frank, and they succeed. Frank explodes. Abigail thanks her for her help and lets her go. But Christoph Laser suddenly comes in and intimidates Joey, who is immediately protected by Abigail. Abigail explains what happened, and her father understands. Laser shows his friendship to Joey, Then he asks her to leave immediately because they are late for dinner. Joey complied. She left the house, got in the car, and drove away. Is Joey a vampire now? She's not. Her master is dead. Share in the comments if you have any independent thought. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.